Now last week we talked about the top 5 best monitor lizards. These were going to be monitors that were, for the most part, captive bred. There was a lot of captive bred availability. The temperament with them was a little bit more on the nicer side. They seemed to tame down a little easier, and all in all, I just feel that those monitors make good pets. So today I thought, let's talk about the exact opposite. Yes, we are going to be talking about some monitor lizards that either aren't very nice. Really, the taming process of them is a lot more difficult than you would with the other species. Mostly are going to be imports or wild-caught animals. Not much captive breeding is going on with these guys, and all in all, they're just species that I personally wouldn't recommend as pets. With all that out of the way, let's sit back, relax, and dive into the top 5 worst monitor lizards. Roll that intro. Alright, just a quick disclaimer, this video is just for entertainment purpose only. I don't want anyone to have their feelings hurt because I said that their monitor lizard was the worst. It's just some clickbait stuff, so people click on this video, and I just thought it's for entertainment value only. I'm not putting any precedent. I'm sure with every species that I'm going to talk about, there are individuals that make great animals, and those individuals are wonderful pets. This isn't all, you know, like educational. It's just for the most part, I'm using stereotypes for that species on why I wouldn't recommend them. So I'm really just saying this so you don't click on this video and give me a thumbs down and leave a nasty comment. But if you really have to, you really feel so enraged because I said that your monitor was bad, I completely understand. You can dislike this video. What I'm really getting at is there are no good and bad monitors. Each monitors have their specific personality and require specific things, and some can be a little more difficult to tame down than others. Also, I'm trying to get at this video is showing that if someone's just interested in monitor lizards in general but don't know where to start, there are some monitors that I recommend for the reasons I stated in the beginning of this video, more so than the ones we are going to be talking about. Is this enough of a disclaimer? Can we actually get on with the video now? Awesome, let's get started. And then kicking off our list with number 5, the Mangrove Monitor. Now, Mangrove Monitors made this list a little bit because of the fact I feel like they're one of these big impulse buys. Of course, not as big as some of the ones we'll get into later, but I see a lot of people, you know, it's usually from expos, they see this monitor, it's like 100, 150 bucks, so they take it home, they're gonna put it on a 40 gallon, of course. Everyone that impulse buys a monitor puts it in a fucking 40 gallon tank. I feel like these people that impulse buy these monitors really don't know how much information about what the Mangrove Monitor is, just because of the fact that it stays at a generally low size, anywhere from 3 to 4.5-ish feet. I'll put the size right there if I'm wrong. Mangrove Monitors, in my opinion, don't really make the best pets. These guys seem to be very recluse, a very shy species. They don't really tame down as well as other species that I've mentioned in the past. They also require pretty large enclosures. These guys being a species that require a tropical setup, so of course high humidity with a high heat, they're going to want a lot of hiding spaces, much like you would use for tree monitors. And I don't know, just all in all, I feel like I just have to put this monitor on the list because it seems to be one of those top ones that people impulse buy, have no idea what the care is, and they kind of just, well, mess the lizard up. If all that wasn't enough proof to show my case that these aren't good monitors, why is talking hard? Why is talking hard sometimes? Well, 2 more things is the fact that Mangrove Monitors, for the most part, are going to be wild-caught imports. That comes with its all set of problems. As people know, it comes with wild-caughts. I've learned a little bit through podcasts. I can't remember which one. I'll try to put it somewhere over here if I do remember it while I'm editing this video. There's something with the Mangrove Monitors with breeding them. They become like quite violent while breeding. So breeding them's a little hard because if they don't get along with each other, it kind of goes south pretty fast. But yeah, there's also that, and the fact they have sharp teeth. Mangrove monitors have pretty sharp teeth, and not with a, you know, friendly temperament. That kind of makes a combination for not so much of a fun pet. I've seen some nasty mangrove bites in the past, and I think that's let's get on to the next one. But all right, moving next on our list, we are going to be talking about number 4, the blue-tailed monitor. Now, ironically, when I made the best monitor list, I actually already had the worst monitor list in mind of all the ones that we're going to be talking about now. Ironically, we had a comment saying that the blue tail should have been the best, so I feel kind of awkward saying the blue tail since a viewer's like, oh, they make the best, but I don't think they do. Now, I think the blue tail monitors don't make the best pet for pretty much all the reasons that we are going to be talking about again and again. It's going to sound like a broken record, I apologize. But blue tail monitors, you're going to see a lot more of them being imported. I see very little captive breeding, so a lot of them are going to be imports. You're going to have, again, what comes with that importation and that wild-caught animal that you're going to have to deal with. Any sort of infections, parasites, things like this, acclimating from a wild environment to a captive enclosure can be a little difficult for some new keepers, and all in all, just a couple of those reasons again. Now, don't get me wrong, I think blue-tailed monitors are absolutely stunning. They are a beautiful tree monitor with this absolutely iridescent blue tail. They are gorgeous. With that being said, don't really have a good temperament. Of course, with them being tree monitors, much like the Mangrove Monitor, they're gonna have this flighty, just not really pleasant, I guess you would say, temperament. Again, they're gonna be kind of more reclusive, shy, flighty. Not gonna be really a monitor that's gonna wanna come out and hang out with you. Really top these guys over for me into making them on this list is, of course, if you know blue tail monitors, you know about this bite right here. I might not put that picture because YouTube might be like, hey, that's too graphic, we're gonna demonetize you for it. YouTube. But if it was not, we're talking about that video there. Literally, if you just search blue-tailed monitor bite, you're gonna come up with that video. That was one. That was a pretty nasty bite, my guy. I don't know who. I'll put whoever the link. I'll put up the video right. You should go check it out. It's a pretty gnarly bite. Yeah, that thing looked pretty bad. So that's why they made that list. Moving on. And then going on, we are going to be talking about number 3. All right, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have a number 3 monitor. It's actually not a lot of monitors I think don't make great pets, so I couldn't think of 5. But top 5 sounds better than top 4, so this is just gonna be an empty space. You could use this time to maybe like that video, or I guess to give it a dislike because I clickbaited you saying top 5, but it's a top 4, and I completely understand if you feel that way, but any engagement really would be pretty rad. Moving on. Getting down on this list, we are going to be talking about number 2. They're everywhere. They're imported constantly. Studies show that 90% of them that come here don't really make it. They don't last very long. Number 2, the Savannah Monitor. I mean, was it really a surprise that the Savannah Monitor is on this list? I mean, this has got to be the most impulsed monitor. Savannah Monitor is coming in at about 4 feet of length when they reach full size, coming in also at the price of like, what, 10, 20 bucks at most? These are got to be one of the most impulse buy monitors. People think, oh, well, it's only $20 and it only gets 4 feet. That's not as big as, you know, black throats, water monitors, crocodile monitors. This might be a monitor I can take care of. Nope. Gonna have a tough one there, buddy. Now, not only are Savannah monitors for the most part import, of course there are some captive bred specimens being bred. I actually just saw someone that's just showing a group, which is pretty cool to see. For the most part, these guys are imported in. That's of course gonna have its own set of problems, but also the fact there's not I guess there is information out there, but it seems to be very controversial. It almost seems, there seems to be controversy around what is the proper way to take care of a Savannah monitor. Now, while researching care for your Savannah monitor, you are going to get a lot of conflicting info. There's gonna be people saying you don't feed a whole prey, you can feed separate meats like you would for a tegu. There are gonna be people saying that they are purely insectivores, you only need to feed them insects, you only should feed them insects. Feeding time's gonna be sporadic. I've seen people that feed for the most part and keep going. I've seen people that stop feeding in the fall and just kind of having them a cycle through the winter and feed sparsely during that time. There seems to be a bunch of people doing a bunch of different things and a bunch of different outcomes coming from those things. I think the most important part to take away from all this is the fact that obesity seems to be the biggest concern with Savannah monitors. This has to do with keepers keeping them in not only too small of an enclosure, but feeding too often and feeding too fatty. So if you do end up with Savannah monitor, make sure you're keeping on that leaner diet. I'm one of those people that actually thinks they are should be for mostly insectivores, with the occasional whole prey food item as a treat, and make sure they're getting a lot of exercise. Savannah monitors, even as babies, it is recommended that they go into an 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. Straight off the bat, you're gonna need 2 feet for burrowing because they are a burrowing species. This is a lot of lists, a lot of things to talk about why they made this list, but yes, Savannah monitors just not the best pet in my opinion. Woo! All right, boys and girls, here we are. We are down on the list and talking about the very last one. Hopefully there's not an ad that pops up right before us, so you don't get to see what the number one is. You'll have to watch that ad, maybe all the way through. Number one. I'm sorry, but I gotta make these bills. You understand. You understand. Number one, the Nile Monitor. Have you ever thought to yourself, man, I really appreciate the Asian water monitor aesthetic. I mean, they're a nice big monitor growing, above 6 feet. It's cool that they need like large water features. I really like that, but the only thing I don't like about water monitors is they're nice. So can I get all that stuff with the water monitors, but just make it not be nice? Well, Nile monitors are for you then. Dear Lord. Now, Nile monitors are right up there with the Savannah monitors. They gotta be the first or the second. They really go hand in hand with the most imported monitor coming into the US, coming at a nice grand price of, again, like $20. Jesus Christ, these guys have got to be up there with impulse buying, because for 20 bucks, that's a steal. I can use that money and put it in a nice 40-gallon aquarium. That's what I'm gonna put my Nile monitor in. Don't worry, they grow to their setup or some stupid shit like that. Oh my God. Now, as we said earlier, just like the Asian water monitor, Nile monitors get pretty big. They're gonna need a very spacious, large enclosure with a pretty large water feature, except for the fact that, yeah, they are not the nicest monitors out there. Now, that is not saying that, any of these monitors can't be tamed down, but if you're doing a comparison to, the water monitor or the Nile monitor is definitely going to be a lot tougher when it comes to taming the animal down. All in all, really big monitor, needs a really big space, and doesn't have a really nice attitude. Kind of the opposite is what I would say. So yeah, that's the list. Number one, Nile monitors. All right, boys and girls, we pulled it off. We did it. We got 5 monitor lizards that, I guess 4 monitor lizards that don't make the best pets. Hopefully I don't get spammed with people just really, I have my Savannah monitor for 20 years now. He was born in 1977. You don't know what you're talking about. They make fantastic pets. People just don't know what, I get it. This might have not been the best video to make. Alright, as always, if you liked the video, please feel free to give us a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of my animals or my breeding projects, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, DVCB Exotics, also TikTok. We're getting pretty big. I think one of my videos is at like 600, 700,000 views. That's pretty rad. It's a tokay gecko, me being bit by tokay. What a surprise. If you like what you saw, you think this guy's pretty cool, maybe think about buying a t-shirt. T-shirts are pretty cool. We got them in that style, this style right here, all pretty good stuff. It's down there at teespring.com, which, by the way, Patreon's also there. If you're like, man, I can't get enough with this guy. He's pretty rad. Let's give him money. That's what you do with Patreon. It's $1 a month. You get cool stuff like pictures I take of my animals before anyone else gets to see them, new animals that come in for breeding projects before anyone else gets to see them again. You get up-to-date updates on my breeding project, what's going on, what animals I'm producing. There's also a tier where you can get discounts on the merch that I just showed right a second ago, and then animals I produce, like this cute little baby right here. All sounds pretty good. Like I said, at $1 a month, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I think you probably spend more on Spotify. That's my reasoning. We'll see you later.